Hey everybody, this is Tyler Rentz from the Grind Fitness and welcome to my channel. On this channel you're going to learn everything on how to take care of your body while we do this wonderful sport that we love called Jiu-Jitsu. Everything from joint strength training classes to mobility classes and of course yoga. Hope you enjoy this class, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button or give us a share. Oops guys, hope to see you.
Greetings, fellow yogi. Welcome. I'm Tyler, and thanks for joining another Sunday evening live class provided by Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu. Take a second to put on a little music if you'd like, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe and give this page a share. And then come and join me on your knees in a hero's pose, and we'll get started. So tonight is a series that I love to do after Jiu-Jitsu. After some hard training, and I trained hard this weekend, and I'm hoping to continue to train hard this week. So this is something that I love to do to make that happen. It's a recovery class, and I'm excited to share it with you. So get yourself comfortable, seated on your heels. If this is a lot of pressure on your knees, use a folded up blanket or maybe a block, something to put underneath your butt so you take a little bit of that pressure off of your knees. They can be together or spread, whatever feels comfortable. Take a nice deep breath and let your eyes close. Your hands can come to your thighs or to your lap. And we'll just start with 5 really slow, deep, long breaths with your eyes closed, just to bring our awareness into our body and onto our mats for this practice. So nice and deeply in through your nose. If you're a little stuffed up, you can use your mouth, that's fine. Deeply in. Hold it at the top for 1 second, and then let it go nice and slow. Empty all the way out your lungs, your belly. Hold it for a second, and same thing, nice and slowly in. Fill your belly, fill your chest. Hold it at the top, and let it go. Okay, 3 more deep breaths on your own. Bring your arms up over your head. Lean side to side, nice and gently. Maybe pulling on your opposite wrist. Starting to open up the side of your body. Bring your right hand down to the mat beside you. And lean over to the right side. Looking up. Getting a nice gentle stretch through the whole left side of your body. Continuing that deep breathing. Both hands up, left hand to the mat, right side stretch. Feeling the expansion between your rib cage, the ribs. Neck is loose, not straining. Back to center. Bring your hands behind you and begin to lean back as you open up your chest, pulling your heart and you're pulling your shoulders back and your heart forward, and let your head drop. Take some deep breaths in this upper back bend. Play with the adjustment of your hands to change the sensation a little bit. Now engaging your glutes, lift your hips and bring that stretch into your quads, stretching the whole front side of your body, maybe getting a nice stretch in your shoulders too. 2 more deep breaths. Let that go. Shake it out a little bit. Come into a child's pose, the turtle. Spread your knees wide. I'm going to turn sideways and just walk your hands out. Extended child pose. Your hips are heavy back onto your heels, and your hands are pulling your chest forward, and your forehead is on the ground. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Make a good connection with your hands to the mat. Two more deep breaths. Slowly walk yourself out of that. That feels real good. Now tucking our toes underneath in this hero's pose. You can see me like this. I have little pinky toes, so I got to use my hands to give my feet a nice stretch here. If at any time this is too intense on your feet, just go back to the tops of your feet. No worries. But we're going to try to get a nice intense stretch through the feet, because the foot flexibility is really key when we're wearing shoes all the time. And jiu-jitsu, our feet have more mobility, and so we get cramps and stuff in our feet because they're not used to that type of movement. So stretching them is really important. Another small joint that's really important as we stay on our toes here is the wrists. So we're going to turn our fingers backwards to face our knees, and then start to bring a little bit of weight. Adjust them either further forward or further back, and just adjust your hips so you can stretch your forearm and your wrist. You can bring a little side to side movement, a little forward and back. Keep breathing nice and deep here. Make it as intense as you want. Now placing the back of your hands on the mat and straightening and bending your arms nice and gently. Try to press that whole back of your hand into the mat and get a stretch in the front side of your wrist. And nice and easy, make some fists. It's a great stretch to bring some blood into your wrist joints. Couple more. Nice. Shake that out a little bit. We're going to move into our combat base position. So if you're still feeling good on the foot stretch, keep that and bring one foot on the mat parallel with your knee, and stretch that foot even more. You're really putting a lot of weight on that foot stretch. It should be burning right now. And when you're ready, untuck that. And this is our combat base, a kind of passing position. My butt is in front of this back heel. So just get comfortable here. Really nice for jiu-jitsu. And then we'll switch from our combat base into our combat guard. So just moving your butt over that back heel and sitting down behind your back foot. Now we're in our combat guard position. So if you want to use your hands for this, if you think you can have the core strength and just lift yourself up, we're moving back and forth between combat guard and combat base. Nice hip mobility drill. If you got to use that hand, you got a nice post behind you, just coming forward. Here we can do a backwards roll and lift our feet. Here we can stand up and come forward. It's a simple movement, but it changes everything in jiu-jitsu. Nice. Now from combat base, let this right knee open up to the left side. We're sitting on our butt and we're in S mount. Another nice hip stretch, feeling it in your left quad and your right inner hip. Just feel a good stretch here. Now follow me as we bring the back foot, the left foot, around, leaning to the right, into butterfly. So use your hands behind you and just move around in this butterfly cobbler's pose, loosening up your hips a little bit. And then leaning to the left side, bring your right foot behind your hips. S mount on the other side. Take some nice deep breaths here, feeling the stretch. Play around with that body position to change the sensations a little bit. Keep your breathing nice and deep. And now right foot kicks out, comes to meet your left foot in the middle to this butterfly stretch. Here for a second, keeping your spine straight, lifting your chest. And now right foot comes behind, left foot to the mat, and combat guard, combat base on the left side. Nice hip mobility drill here. Use your hands if you need to. Bring both feet in front of you. We're just going to windshield wipe our knees from side to side. Can engage the glute a little bit to intensify the stretch in the outside hip flexor. Turning on and relaxing different muscles changes the sensation of the stretch. It's kind of obvious, but it's something that we can play around with. And ideally, the idea is to turn off any muscles that you don't need for the stretch and really keep muscles like the hands and the face and that wasted energy relaxed during your yoga poses. But at the same time, to get proper alignment and balance, we need to engage certain muscles. Oftentimes the core muscles are very important to give yourself a foundation in a pose so you don't collapse and injure lower back or hips or something. All right, I'm going to keep on with some hip stretches, bringing our right ankle onto our left knee, using your hands behind you to adjust your hips into this figure 4 stretch here. Now the adjustment of your front foot, your hips, your hands, all of these will change the sensation. Find something where you have good posture, your back is nice and straight, You're not hunching forward too much. Your chest is open, but you're getting a good stretch in that hip. If you feel something in your knee, flex your toes, pull those toes back towards your shin, and that'll help to engage the tendons in the outside of the knee so that you don't strain those too much with this stretch. So avoid intense knee pain, just trying to stretch the hip as much as possible, as much as feels good. How's your breathing? Nice and deep? Two more breaths. Feet back to center. Do some washing machines. Just rolling your legs in a circle, both directions. Nice. Left ankle to right knee. Settle your hips back down. Pull your toes to your knee and give yourself a nice hip stretch. Play with that adjustment to find something that feels comfortable, and then relax. You can close your eyes, just focus on your breathing and feel that sensation. Think about sending that fresh oxygen, fresh oxygenated blood to the place where you're feeling sensation. Inhale, you can feel some expansion as your lungs fill, and exhale, you can sink into that space that you created and just relax. Let that go. Now, if your wrists are feeling really sore, mine are hurting a little bit, so I'm going on my knuckles behind me for a little more stability. Lifting hips, good for you. Lift your hips into this reverse tabletop. Just bring some flow back into the front side of your body. Let your head hang as you lift your hips up. Your wrists and hands should be underneath your shoulders and your feet pretty close to under your knee. Couple more breaths here. Now we're going to move into a seated forward fold. See if you can keep your hips, your butt up off the mat the whole way. Hover here for a second with straight legs. And nice and easy, bring your butt down. And with your chest leading, so not rounding too much, fold forward, hands to your shins or to your feet. Take a nice deep breath and expand a little bit, pull your shoulders back, and then fold forward, looking for an even stretch all the way from the backs of your legs, back of your calves, through your lower back, into your neck. Just one even stretch, breathing nice and deep. Last breath. Walk yourself up out of that nice and easy, nice and slow. Crossing your feet and rolling onto your knees to hands and knees, tabletop position. Going through some spinal movement here. First, dropping your belly, sticking your tailbone up in the air, looking up, arched spine, cow pose, and then let your head hang, drop your tailbone, tuck your tailbone, lift your belly into cat with a rounded spine, and then move back and forth between these two shapes, arched spine and rounded spine. Using your breath, inhaling for that cow, exhaling for cat. Now, your knees are pretty close to underneath your hips. Hands are under your shoulders. Give yourself a little bit more space, and then keeping your elbows tight to your rib cage, rock forward into a plank with your knees. Tuck your toes, lift your knees into a plank. Elbows tight to your ribs, lowering 1 inch off the ground. Breathe. And all the way down. Untuck your toes. And a back bend. Maybe a nice gentle one to start can feel good. Not pushing too much with your hands. Just using your back muscles to lift your chest. Gently looking up. Let it go for a second. Go a little deeper if it feels good. Maybe straightening your arms. Keeping your shoulders away from your ears. All the way down. This time pressing the tops of your toes into the mat so that you lift your knees. One more back bend. Now, tuck your toes. Lift your hips up and back. Keeping your knees bent. Letting your head hang. Straight, long spine. Big hands. Downward dog. Straighten one leg, straighten the other leg. You have child's pose as an option anytime here. You gotta give your arms a break. But we're gonna spend a little bit of time in down dog, so get comfortable. Adjust the dog so that you have a nice straight spine. That's the most important. Try not to round. Let that chest drop. Bending your knees is a nice way to feel the chest, the belly, and your thighs connect. Make sure your fingers are spread wide. And then nice and slow, walk your feet up to meet your hands while your head hangs. Really heavy. Grab opposite elbows. Hang. It's nice to have a good connection with your belly and your knees. So as much as you need to bend your knees to get that good connection, you can hang loose. Grab your elbows and then start to lift your hips and straighten your legs. Stretch your hamstrings. Hands to the mat. Squat all the way down. Now, if a squat is really hard for you, you can put a blanket or fold your mat a little bit to lift your heels. Put something underneath your heels, and that makes it a little bit easier. This is another nice position to spend time in for ankle dorsiflexion and hip mobility. Bringing your elbows inside of your knees, stretching your hips a little bit. This is one of my favorites, is twist. Straighten your left arm, pushing your tricep into the inside of your left knee. Right hand to right knee. Open up. And if it feels good, reaching your left hand behind your back, connecting your hands for a nice bind. This is pretty tough. I'm not sure most people can do this, but it feels really good on your shoulders. even if you try to do it a little bit, you'll start to work on building up that flexibility. It's all about time, repetitions. The more time you spend in this position, the easier it becomes. Back to center, over to the left side. Right arm is straight. Feel that push with your tricep as you rotate your chest to this twist. Very nice. Hold that squat. We're going to do some rock and rolls. So hands out in front, drop to your butt, grab your knees or the back of your thighs, and just roll back and forth along your spine a few times. Not rolling onto our necks, staying off the necks, and just going on the shoulder. So this next time we roll, we're going to stop on our shoulders with our legs and hips above us. So you can put a little bit of pressure into your neck, but we're really a lot stronger off of our shoulders in this upside down guard position. So your hands can support your lower back if that feels good. And you want to give yourself a little support to be able to breathe in this position, getting comfortable being upside down. And if we're really comfortable here, hands can connect behind the back. We always can reach out. I think this is the easiest for your neck. Gives you a little bit more support, touching your toes. Just find something comfortable here, play around. If it's new to you, it can be kind of fun to be upside down. And breathing makes it tough to breathe really deep. But it makes your guard pretty impassable if you can be comfortable being upside down. All right, nice and easy, come down. You can use your hands for support to bring your back to the mat. Put your feet close to your butt, flat on the mat. Fingertips to your heels. And bridge your hips up in the air, walking your shoulders underneath. This is a little bridge pose. Glutes can be engaged or relaxed depending on how much stretch you want in the front of your legs. If you relax your glutes, it's more in your lower back. If you engage your glutes, they carry your weight and stretch the front of your quads. Let it go. Do that one more time. If you want a little bit more intensity, a little bit more depth, make a connection to your ankles. Lift your hips. Walk your shoulders under. Lift your chest. Lift your hips. Keep your head straight. Let that go. One more time. If you've got a full wheel in your practice, go for that. My shoulder's not loving that so much. So that's the full upward bow. But I like this little floor bow here. Hands to ankles. Walk shoulder blades under and lift your hips. Nice, let that go. Let your legs go straight and grab your right knee, interlace fingers behind your knee and pull that into your chest. maybe a little bit out towards your armpit, keeping that left leg as heavy as you can on the mat. Feeling a nice stretch here. This is wind removing pose. If you can imagine what that means, maybe you've already experienced what that means. It's all good. Now moving into a twist. I like to scoop my hips a little bit to that right side and then let my knees fall to the left. Right shoulder is staying heavy on the mat. Right hand extends. Feel that twist all the way from the base of your spine up through the rib cage. Left hand can rest on your knees or be out in a T shape. Two more nice, big, deep, long, slow breaths. Walk it back to center. Square your hips. Hug both knees. Rock a little side to side. And straighten your right leg. Keep that left knee hugged in. Interlaced fingers is good. You can also go Dan Severn, elbow to knee, or full rear naked choke grip. Really getting a deep stretch as you choke your left leg. Twisting, move your hips to the left, knees fall to the right, left shoulder is heavy on the mat, arm out straight, maybe looking over your left shoulder. Big, deep, full breaths. Nice and easy back to center. Palms of your feet together in this reclined butterfly. Bring your C cups, your C-shaped hands, your palms to your hip crease. We'll see if you can get a little bit of traction in your lower spine, a little bit of length as you push your hips down and feel your spine get a couple millimeters longer. Hug your knees, rock side to side. And rock and roll back up to your butt. Crossing your legs, coming back into a tabletop position. If your knees are uncomfortable, feel free to fold this mat and give yourself a little bit more padding here. Really nice. Bring that right foot outside of your right hand. Adjust the back knee. into this lunge, lizard lunge. Back toes can untuck. If this feels good, stay here. If you want to add a little twist, left hand strong into the mat as you open your right shoulder up, pushing on your right knee. Rocking back, lifting that back foot, kick it to your heel, rock forward again. Ooh, feel a cramp. Nice. Kick it again, reach back and grab it. Only if it feels accessible, otherwise stay in that lunge, no worries. Pull that to your heel to your butt, opening up to the right side. Let it go. Let's go into a downward dog. Pedaling out your feet. Knees down to a tabletop. Left foot outside of left hand. Adjust the back knee so you find the right spot to stretch. Untuck your toes and sink your hips nice and low. Pulling your shoulders back, not rounding too much. Try to pull yourself forward. Maybe having your hands up on some blocks can help you here. Having that twist if you're ready. Strong right hand, opening to the left side. And finally, catching your foot, kicking it to your heel first without your hands. Gives me a cramp every time. I think that's a good thing. Reach back and grab your foot. Stretch that right quad. Stretch left hamstring. Open your chest. Let that go. Let's move into a plank pose. Lower down to your belly, elbows tight to your ribs. Nice little back bend. And into a child's pose, big toes to touch, hands in front, chest sinks low, hips are heavy. Take a few breaths. And when you're ready, come up to join me on your knees. That same pose that we started with. Hero's pose. See if it feels any different than it did in the start of the class. Close your eyes. Take 5 of those nice, slow, deep, long breaths, filling your belly, filling your chest, holding it for a second at the top, and exhaling equally as slow, holding for a second at the bottom. If you can hear me breathing, follow along, but just count to 5 in your own head and take these nice breaths to close out our practice. 2, 3. Make these last 2 as fully in and as fully out as you can. Awesome. It's 6:40 right now, so I have a little bit more time. We'll do a little bit of breath work if you want to stay with. If you want to split and just call it yoga for the evening, no worries. Thank you for participating in this Yoga for BJJ class provided by Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu. If you haven't already, use the discount code below to save on a monthly membership, and we will see you next week at 6 p.m. Eastern on Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu social media for another free class. And if you're sticking around for some breathing, maybe changing our position. We've spent a lot of time on our knees. So coming to this cross-legged, easy seated position, maybe sitting on top of a blanket to give your hips a little bit of support. The main thing we're avoiding is knee pain here in this cross-legged position. Feel free to grab a drink of water. Turn up the music a little bit, and we're going to start with some belly movement. I've showed this before, but I like to do it before breath work, breath practice, just to loosen up my diaphragm and my internal organs a little bit. Obviously, breath work is always easier done on an empty stomach, so it's nice to do in the morning or after a fast. If you do intermittent fasting, it's nice to do this belly work before you eat, breath work before you eat. So first, I won't show you my belly, but you can just use your imagination. This is a Nali Kriya, so we will exhale all of our air out, fully out, and then suck your belly in and move your belly in and out. And once you get good, you can even go side to side and get almost a coordination with your abdominal muscles, your diaphragm muscles. But for simple sake, it's nice to keep a connection with your knees as you breathe out. Suck that belly in. Push it out. Suck it in. Push it out without breathing. Okay, I'll show you. Take a breath. Let's just do that 2 more times. If it's weird and new to you, no worries, but play around with it. It feels really good. Exhale fully. Suck it in. Nice. If you want to see this done by a master, watch Choke. It's a free documentary, one of the coolest jiu-jitsu documentaries, Hicks and Gracie, and he is incredible with this practice. So here we go, one more time, deeply in and fully out. Belly movement. Nice. So we'll go with some Wim Hof breathing. This is my favorite practice. It involves 30 deep breaths followed by a retention. You can either retain your breath after an exhale, so with no air in your lungs, or after an inhale with a full breath of lungs. If you're holding after an exhale, you're testing your system, testing how much those 30 deep breaths have charged your system with oxygen, adding a lot of extra oxygen to your blood with this hyperventilation breath, but it's not uncontrolled hyperventilation, it's controlled hyperventilation. So that'll give you a charge. You'll feel tingling in your fingers, tingling in your feet, a little bit lightheaded. So it's best to do this laying down. So feel free to lay down, get very comfortable. Even a blanket, temperature changes are very normal during this practice. So get yourself set up, be comfortable, or just don't push it too hard and stay seated and just feel good with this practice. So 30 deep breaths. I think I'm going to do exhale retentions this time to test my systems. If you want to feel that extra boost of oxygen, you do an inhale retention. You'll be amazed with how long you can hold your breath, and you get a really intense rush of oxygen if you flex your muscles and push that blood up to your head. It's really nice. So this oxygen influence with the oxygen system in your blood is really good for recovery, really good for healing, inflammation reduction. Look into the Wim Hof method and you can find all sorts of science to back this. But let's get started. So deeply in through the mouth or the nose, whatever feels good, and let it go. Not fully out, just let it go. Deeply in, let it go. That's 2. Let's go to 30. If you feel better with a slower pace or a faster pace, no problem. Feel your own body. Feel that tingling sensation. Breathe toward it. Don't be afraid. Go deep. Go for it. No hesitation. 15 more. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last breath. Let it go and hold. Relax. Relax your face. Relax your hands. Feel at peace. How many spots of tension can you find in your body and let them go? Anytime you need to inhale, do so, but feel free to fight that urge just a little bit. If you've taken your deep breath in, maybe forgot to tell you, but hold that in breath for 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. So deeply in, hold that. And let it go. That's one round. If you like to test yourself, you want to get a little bit of a visual representation of what you're able to do with your body and your breath, you can use a timer to time your exhale retentions. But either way, here we go into round 2. Deeply in, let it go. Deeply in, let it go. Fully in, let it go. Even deeper. No hesitation. No stopping at the top or the bottom. Circular. Like a wave. intensifying those sensations. You're like a pump, pumping oxygen into your bloodstream. 10 more. 5, 4, staying relaxed. 3, 2, last one, nice and easy. Let it go and retain your breath. Meditate. Focus on your third eye, the space behind your forehead. You don't need to breathe. You're doing just fine. You've got plenty of oxygen stored up in your tissues. When that urge is strong, make it a big, deep, full breath and hold it at the top for 10-15 seconds. Maybe flexing and moving some of that blood into your head feels good. Let's do one more round. 30 deep breaths, using your belly, filling your belly first, then your chest. Let it go. Belly, chest. Let it go. Belly, chest. Let it go. Belly, chest. Let it go. Circular. Find a rhythm. Feel the sensation. Deeply in, let it go. Ten more. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, stop, be still. Let your mind, your face, your fingers, your feet, everything melt, relax, just be. I hope you feel good. Feel free to stay here, relax, keep your eyes closed, maybe even seeing some colors behind your eyelids. It's your nervous system stimulated by the breathing. It can be quite beautiful. I just realized I forgot one of the most important things for a jiu-jitsu recovery class. And I didn't do any neck stretches, so I've got 4 more minutes until 7 o'clock. So follow me in some nice, easy neck stretches. Let your right ear fall to the right shoulder. Stretch the left side. Left fingertips can come to the mat. Nice, easy breaths. Right hand to the top of your head. Give yourself a little pull. Back to center. Roll your shoulders forward and backwards. And right fingertips out to the right side. Left ear, left shoulder. Stretch the right side of your neck. Left hand to the top of your head, adding to the stretch, only if it feels good. Back to center, just turning your head from side to side, looking behind you. And chin to chest. Let your head hang, stretch the back of your neck. Maybe roll your shoulders a little bit. And look up, pulling your shoulders back, dropping your head, stretching the throat. Back and forth a couple times. And one big circle each direction. One more each direction. And I've used up all my time, so I just want to say again, thank you for participating in this Yoga for BJJ class provided by Wellness for Jiu-Jitsu. If you haven't already, use the discount code below to save some money on a monthly membership and get access to lots of great jiu-jitsu, yoga, wellness content. Otherwise, we will see you next week, again at 6 p.m. Eastern for another free class. Oos, namaste.